what have we learnt here, really? Because at the time, there was a huge amount of criticism about the police for, well, essentially releasing what you could argue is medical information, really.
Yeah, well, to sort of paraphrase doing these two inquiries that have announced their findings this afternoon, it's essentially nothing to see here, kindly move on. But we did learn that the police contact with Nicola Bulley before she went missing was when an officer responded to an ambulance being called to her house. We discovered that this afternoon. That has been investigated by the Independent Office of Police Conduct, and they found that there is no misdemeanour there, for want of a better expression. Although, together with the Information Commissioner's Office, saying that, again, with regards to that information being released, they find no adverse kind of comment on that. It is really interesting that we don't have lessons have been learned, that tired old phrase that kind of makes my heart sink wherever I hear it. We now have new phrasings, procedural learning and areas of learning. So possibly somebody's got promoted for coming up with this new terminology.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, your mind boggles, doesn't it, when it comes to that kind of stuff. But the police overall absolutely copped it at the time for what was seen, because of the length of time it took to find Nicola, as some kind of bungled operation. We had that chap who was a part of a dive team as well, who was, for want of a better phrase, sticking his oar in left, right and centre, wasn't he? And then people saying that maybe now the police have got something to answer for here. But the reality is, Peter, that we are going to have to wait for this inquest to get all of the answers, aren't we?
Absolutely. The coroner's inquest will be absolutely crucial, and that is when we will hear every single piece of information about the search for Nicola in its entirety. And let's not forget, it wasn't the police that found Nicola's body. Tragically, that was discovered by members of the public. And there is yet another inquiry, which is the College of Policing, who are doing their own independent inquiry into it as well. So it'll be very interesting to see if they discover that there are more areas of learning, for example.
Yeah, and I think for some people who are maybe saying, well, why are you all raking this up now? Well, this news has just dropped today, so there is that. But also, at the time, Peter, there were so many conspiracy theorists doing the rounds, weren't there? You couldn't move for it online. A lot of it was, well, all of it really, was bang out of order, and it was incredibly mawkish and horrible, really. So, actually, I think it is probably in the public's interest to know, whilst maintaining absolute respect to the family, as much information as possible, which maybe shuts a few people up.
Undoubtedly, but the uncomfortable truth is this gossip and rumour mongering still continues apace. I am contacted every week by people forwarding stuff to me from different groups on Facebook, for example, where the conversations are running rampant. And I'm afraid that today is probably not going to quell much of that. It will continue. What we really need to hear is all the evidence from the inquest, and hopefully we get definitive answers to all the questions that so many people are asking.
No.